Alright, 20th video. So, before I start making this video, there have been a lot of things going on in my life. For example, the war going on in Gaza, all the things Donald Trump is doing right now, my wife taking me to court, trying to take everything I own after she cheated on me, and trying to take my kids. Still, she has a good lawyer and I'm too broke to afford one. So now it's like you're asking, what does that have anything to do with anything? To that I answer that all of them relate to Islam Makhachev versus JDM in the context of I simply just don't know what's going to happen with all that. So the upcoming UFC event, I think there is a general consensus that there's a lot on the line here. And look, I say this because you have JDM defending his belt for the first time. You know, you have Islam moving up to a new weight class for the first time. So you see, we have two great fighters doing something for the first time in their careers, which makes it a fascinating spectacle. This fight is such an interesting anomaly to me because I genuinely think I have never seen a more favorite fighter in a fight that is considered 50-50. Because for as much people say that it's going to be close or that they don't really have a prediction, most people seem to favor JDM because, you know, he's bigger, stronger, better on the feet, great at getting back up and defending Bilal's takedowns pretty well, and also ensuring to cause damage on the feet when he gets back up. Now, let's not forget the unpredictability of this fight. Despite JDM's advantages, Islam is not to be underestimated. His speed and technique can turn the tide in an instant. This fight is not just about who's bigger or stronger, it's about who can adapt and strategize better. It's not about the unexpected, the underdog, and the thrill of the unknown. Now, I will agree, all this is true, but I truly I don't have a traditional style of prediction because, you know, every person and their grandmother who has an MMA YouTube channel is doing predictions for Islam versus JDM like it's a science experiment. You know, they're gonna research this topic, form a hypothesis, and then when the actual fight happens, that's going to be everything conducting their experience. Then after the fight is all said and done, everyone's going to analyze their results and either reject their initial hypothesis, admit they're wrong, or cope, whichever one, or accept their hypothesis as they knew all along. Then in return, the whole MMA community will communicate the result of JDM and Islam and label their skills into their next matchup. Because what we learned from this fight, so knowing this, I think it's only valid to analyze this fight as such. Okay, so I'm going to make a hypothesis of what could happen. You know, free ball them like I'm Kobe Bryant. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully one of them happens and I look like a genius and ignore the other possibilities. But the point is, I throw everything at the wall and we'll see what kind of sticks here. So starting with JDM, this guy's skill set is what you look at most. I say an aggressive boxing striker, more or less. Again, I'm talking very generally to start and then possibly break it down more as we go on. JDM is not a striker who's going to jab, stick on the outside, and just outland you to the decision. JDM wants to break you, finish you, and cause damage. That's just how he is, right? And mostly, he gets things done primarily with his hands on the ground as well. He's definitely always uses it on the ground. That's what I meant to say. Him on the ground, he definitely uses it defensively and opportunistically. He never uses it offensively. He will actively pursue it, right? Offensively, JDM will look to ground and pound and threaten chokes. And what I mean by that, he won't engage in the wrestling. He'll never use our wrestling in terms of takedowns offensively, but on the ground he will actively pursue it, right? He's definitely not going to stay on top and win via points. He's going to find a way to do top damage or threaten with chokes like guillotines and rear naked chokes, right? Islam Makhachev now here on the feet, he's very good at using backward movement boxing with high and body kicks, primarily body roundhouse kicks. He doesn't do a lot of leg kicks or teeps or anything like that. The critical thing to keep in mind though is with Islam, since he is a southpaw, he usually fights orthodox opponents. And the time he wasn't fighting an orthodox opponent was against Poirier. And in that fight, he stuck primarily into boxing / clinch knees. on the feet. Now on the ground, he's definitely an aggressive wrestler, mainly focusing on judo style trips against the fence. That's where he traditionally wants to be, rather than shooting out in the open, which he can do and might have an easier time against JDM since he is the shorter frame, which might make double legs even easier since he isn't fighting short, stockier Volk. Now that we know what they're good at, it is essential to realize that Islam has shown weakness on the feet since, or no, it's essential to realize that Islam has shown weakness on the feet because he's so risk adverse. Advise that a good idea is to set up boxing combinations from now on while throwing leg kicks. Like, set up your punches like 1, 2, 3, and then end it with a leg kick. That would be good for JDM, right? If he decides to go forward, basically, if he's going to do that. And on the back foot, JDM should land jabs because Poirier landed a lot on him, and when he's on the ground, it's best to limit the scrambles since submissions open up during scrambles. A better idea would be to drag him towards the fence, or would be to, like, I mean, not drag himself towards the fence, but I don't know how to say, like, scooch up to the fence, right, and get his guard back and, work from there. Getting guard up, I think, is going to be the most important thing to do. Like, I think if they're really doing if he's really doing work with Craig Jones, I really imagine for JDM style would just heavily benefit just getting back guard and standing back from there instead of a scramble-based game, because that just seems a little bit more dangerous. Now, against Bilal, you don't want to do that, right, because Bilal's more of a type that will just lay on you, and he's just so top-heavy that I think it could work, right, in terms of the upper body, right, because he's just so wide and girthy, right, pause on that. But Islam is not really that kind of girth monster, you know what I mean? He's more of like a slimmer kind of guy. He still is pretty girthy, but in terms of like, why I say that, right, is minimize a position where Islam could advance to a finishing or dominant position, because again, Islam is not like Bilal will just lay on you gladly. That's what he does best, right? Islam, again, he will finish you, and he can get pretty dominant positions, right? It's because JDM could rely on landing damage on the feet, then maintain guard on the bottom, winning via damage-based scoring. Now, for Islam going forward, would have to be a thing where he has to do here with boxing mixed with head kicks and clinch attempts and ducking down JDM's punches if he tries to go for head punches. If JDM goes for head punches, a very good thing to do is make sure that Islam uses his pretty solid boxing, go forward, move his head, and counter him, right? Or just straight up just use the clinch, right? Because the thing is, JDM, to counter grapplers, what he was doing a lot in the Bilal fight was ducking his head. So if he ducks his head, he can just grab the tie clinch, hit him with the knee, or even just push him towards the fence. And then whenever JDM probably stops ducking, that's when he can use those double legs to reach for the hips and push him to the fence also, and work from there. And when Islam is actually on the ground, he should take advantage of those submission positions to get a better position, like how he used that Kimura sweep to the back like he did against Poirier. He can win on either control time or strangle JDM with a front choke while he scrambles, right? But I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. If you guys made it this far, make sure to like and leave a comment. Thank you if you made it this far. And yeah, let me know who in the comments you think is gonna win. Again, I really don't know if I had to make a. Yeah, you make sure you guys like and comment, because let me know if you liked the video. If you didn't like the video, let me know who you think is gonna win in the comments below. Why do you think they're gonna win too? Are you excited for this fight? I know I'm excited for it. This is gonna be a legacy defining moment for both these gentlemen, right? And fucking, I don't know who I'm going with here. I would favor more towards the Islam just because of the Dagestani plot armor. These guys don't exactly go through adversity or challenge or risk things unless they know for certain they're going to win. That's the Dagestani style. That's the Khabib kind of style, right? So, you'd imagine if Islam is going up, you'd imagine that he's certain he's 100% just going to win. And, I think an Islam that knows 100% he's going to win is a very dangerous man right there. And JDM does make quite a bit of mistakes, but again, so does Islam, and JDM is really damn good, really, really damn good, and he's really good at what's the word, doing damage and breaking with damage and just imposing his will on you, right? And that's who else did that pretty well, Volk and Poirier. They both imposed their will very nice on Islam, and what did he do? He didn't have nowhere near as an easy time with them. So again, it's a fight that either or could win. It's a very interesting one, and it's definitely a legacy defining moment. So again, I think it's just gonna boil down to whoever can get their game going fast, who wants it more, and that's pretty much it. All right, guys, thank you for listening, and peace.